Is there trouble brewing in the Tata Group? Top leaders of the Tata Group of companies last night met with Union Home Minister Amit Shah and Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. This happened late Tuesday evening. This amid rising tensions within Tata Trusts over the board appointments and also some governance issues. It almost seems like deja vu at the Tata Group because this boardroom battle comes exactly 4 years after the Supreme Court settled a bitter power struggle over the sacking of then Tata Sons chairman Cyrus Mistry. But this time, the battleground is a step higher up the corporate hierarchy and involves infighting within Tata Trusts, which is the non-profit and philanthropic organization that collectively owns 2/3 of equity in Tata Sons. So let's bring you up to speed with what is happening this time around, this fight that's happening between certain members of Tata Trusts and certain members of Tata Sons. Who are the main protagonists and what are the main points of contention this time around? CNBC TV 18 is reporting that some of the key flashpoints that have led to the tensions include an equity infusion by Tata Sons into Tata International, which is chaired by Noel Tata. Now, this proposed 1,000 crore infusion was aimed at helping Tata International tide over some of its losses. Although the proposal was eventually cleared, this move became a source of disagreement among some of the trustees. There were also differences reportedly which emerged over Noel Tata's suggestion to create a deputy managing director position at Tata Sons, which some trustees reportedly were opposed to. In contrast, some of the other trustees are said to have proposed the appointment of Mehli Mistry, who is a member of the Tata Trusts, to the Tata Sons board, an idea that was opposed by both Noel Tata and his allies in Tata Sons as well as in Tata Trust. So let's listen in to Shireen Bhan, who's the managing editor of CNBC TV 18, on what the latest is as far as this boardroom battle is concerned in one of India's largest conglomerates. And like I said, it almost seems like a deja vu because exactly 4 years ago, at that time, it was Cyrus Mistry versus Ratan Tata. Now the protagonists have changed.
Well, isn't it ironic that almost a year since he took over as the chairman of Tata Trusts, a new battle has emerged? Let's take our viewers through what is going on exactly. This is all source-based information, but what I am telling you is the story from both sides. There are two sides on the Tata Trust, one the Noel Tata side and the other are the trustees that come together under the Mehli Mistry side. So the story that I'm going to tell you comes from both sides. Now, the rift within the Tata Group has reached the corridors of power, and CNBC TV 18, as you know, accessed both sides of the story. Let's start with what happened last. Nirmala Sitharaman was part of that meeting that took place in New Delhi. This was a crucial meeting and we're given to understand that the government's intervention, the government's assistance was sought by the Noel Tata side. Now, the power struggle comes nearly a decade after the bitter public battle that we saw between the late Ratan Tata and the late Cyrus Mistry. Now, sources close to the Tata Group claim that a coup attempt has been made by 4 trustees. Now, who are these 4 trustees? Darius Kambata, who incidentally was part of that meeting that took place last night, JHC Jahangir, Pramit Javeri and Mehli Mistry. Now, the Noel Tata side alleges that these trustees tried to emasculate the leadership of Noel Tata and wanted to function, quote-unquote, as a super board. But sources close to the Mistry camp deny these allegations. They claim that the coup narrative is false and that there is no attempt on the part of the Mistry camp to try and usurp power. The Mistry camp claims that a false narrative is being painted to make them look, quote-unquote, like villains. Now, according to sources close to the Mistry camp, there are 3 key flashpoints that have led to the current round of escalation. First is the fund infusion into Tata International. Now, remember, Noel Tata is the chairman of Tata International, and an equity infusion was proposed to tide over the losses that Tata International was sitting on. The company is also saddled with a debt of around 2,000 crore rupees. Now, eventually, the fund infusion of 1,000 crore rupees by Tata Sons was cleared, but sources say the matter continues to remain, quote-unquote, unresolved. Another flashpoint is Noel Tata's idea to create a position of a deputy managing director at Tata Sons. Remember, there is no such position at Tata Sons. N. Chandrasekaran enjoys the position as the chairman of Tata Sons. We learned that the Mistry camp did not believe that this proposal had merit. This proposal also created differences of opinion between both sides.
All right, so the Tata Group is widely recognized and referred to as one of India's largest conglomerates. It's got a diverse portfolio spanning various key industries. It has a long history of growth. It was established by Jamsetji Tata under British colonial rule back in 1868. It's a sprawling empire. They make everything from steel to salt to software, and now, of course, Air India too is part of their portfolio. This conglomerate is now worth roughly $180 billion, making it one of the richest Indian companies, not just here in India, but around the world. It operates in over 100 countries globally. There are very few areas in which the Tata Group has not ventured. The group, in fact, deals with everything from tea to watches to luxury cars, opulent five-star hotels, you name it. So there isn't a part of your daily life which is not touched by a Tata product, and that's why this corporate boardroom battle is something that is of great significance and great curiosity value as well, even for ordinary people who might be interested in the story and who are watching this broadcast. But let's try and make sense of the nub of the issue. Let's go across to Bodhisattva Ganguly, who is consulting editor with Money Control. Bodhi, you heard what Shireen had to say a moment ago. So she's laid out the lay of the land, as it were, the protagonists, what the bone of contention is between certain members in Tata Trusts and, of course, Tata Sons. Why did it reach the corridors of power? Because seldom do we see corporate boardroom tussles being settled, in Delhi, or certainly in Lutyens' Delhi.
Yeah, so that's quite unusual. So the nub of the matter is a meeting which was held on September 11, where, the tussle between the two groups of trustees, as Shireen said, seems to have reached some kind of a flashpoint. So in that meeting, the group of four trustees essentially removed Vijay Singh. So there are two groups, right? There are four trustees, which includes Mehli Mistry, Pramit Javeri, Darius Kambata, and Jahangir. And then there are three others, which is Noel Tata, which is the chairman, and Vijay Singh and Venu Srinivasan, who are now these three, the last three, are also, or in the case of Vijay Singh, they were directors on the Tata Sons board. That is, Tata Trusts had nominated these three individuals, these three gentlemen, as directors of the Tata Sons board. Now, at the contentious September 11th meeting, the four trustees, who were therefore in a majority, removed Vijay Singh from the directorship of Tata Sons, right, on the ground that sufficient information, that they were being kept in the dark about what was being discussed in the Tata Sons board meeting. That's really the nub of the issue. Now, at that board meeting, the four directors, call them dissident directors or whatever whatever terminology you may prefer, they also proposed that Mehli Mistry should be a director on the Tata Sons board. Now, this was opposed by Noel Tata, who was the chairman, and by Venu Srinivasan. This is there in the minutes of that day. And after they opposed it, the other four then did not press the issue further. So what has happened is that there are Tata Trusts now has two nominees on the Tata Sons board. Vijay Singh has stepped down. Vijay Singh, in fact, I think was informed that this was going to happen, so he stepped down before the meeting. But that's a technicality. I mean, he was kind of removed, and so it was a contentious board meeting, and obviously it's a fairly unprecedented event in the history of Tata Trusts, which has been known to work in a collegial atmosphere. So clearly, the tension of the matter could not be resolved in the month, and there is now a meeting in October 10th, which is this Friday. The board of trustees are supposed to meet with the issues still unresolved. And this seems to have prompted the Noel Tata, the Noel Tata Group to approach the government and to seek the government's intervention into the matter. So Noel Tata, Venu Srinivasan, Chandra, and Darius Kambata, who actually was part of the other four directors. I mean, look, they're all directors, but these are the two groups. Was part of this meeting with the HM, and at which the finance minister was also present. So yeah, it's the unresolved tension between the two group of trustees which has resulted in.
I also want to ask you, I mean, Mr. Ratan Tata, when he was around, he had his fair share of this, corporate board battle that was going on with Cyrus Mistry. And tomorrow, I believe, is the first year anniversary of Mr. Tata's demise. You think this issue he would have handled differently? Because, again, I'm coming into it from the point of view that, just 4 years ago, we had this really internecine kind of corporate boardroom war that happened, went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and it took the Supreme Court to settle it once and for all.
But that's hard to predict. But I mean, the point is what you're referring to is the removal of Cyrus Mistry as chairman of Tata Sons by Mr. Ratan Tata and by the Tata Sons born in November 2016. And as you said, this led to prolonged legal battles, which went through all the the national, the NCLT, then the appellate tribunal. Eventually, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Tata Sons. That is, what the Supreme Court said was that the removal was legal. Now, how R&T would have handled it, we can only guess. But that conflict or that dispute certainly is not, at least there's nothing in the public domain to indicate that there was any political inputs into the decision. There was certainly a clash between R&T, who's the kind of patriarch of the Tata Group, and Cyrus Mistry, who, as you know, the SP Group are a big shareholder in Tata Sons. They own 18.4%. And they're the largest single shareholders because the trust's a charitable trust. And then the shares are held by other Tata Group companies. And there are small equity holdings by members of the Tata family, including Mr. Ratan Tata and Mr. Noel Tata. But it was a very major conflict. And there is between R&T and Cyrus and the SP Group. As I said, one doesn't know what may have happened behind the scenes. But my understanding is, by the way, is that the government was always clear that that R&T, because of his towering stature, and putting it in simple terms, had the right to run the Tata Group and had the right to make senior appointments to the Tata Group. I think the government was very clear on that. That is my understanding.
Okay.
And there is no known government to political input or involvement in that matter.
All right. Bodhi, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Noel Tata now to inherit the mantle and, to bring the trustees together, to inherit R&T's mantle.
Yeah.
So let's see whether that
let's see whether that happens. Maybe we'll get a first indication on Friday when the next board meeting happens. Thank you very much. Bodhisattva Ganguly is the consulting editor with Money Control, giving us his thoughts and perspective into this big battle that is brewing now in one of India's biggest conglomerates.